Hey,
Hi,
hey,
how you doing?
how you doing?
Oh, it's been a day. It's been crazy.
Welcome to, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 94 of the Like the Way You Drink podcast. I am your co-host, Tim Gillette, and this is,
Gladys Boutwell, y'all.
hey, we've been doing this for 94 episodes, and every week we got to come up with something new to talk to you guys about food and something to drink.
Yes, because that's kind of the fun part of what we do. We eat and we drink, and we hopefully do it with you.
It's like a weekly happy hour on Monday nights.
That's okay, which will help y'all prepare for the weekend. Hopefully, that's at least our goal. When we started this is what day of the week, and then that way y'all can have time to check it out and decide how is this going to help you in your week or your upcoming weekend.
Mhm.
So hopefully this will help you for if you're doing something tomorrow or day after.
Yep.
You know,
Also,
nothing.
I mean, it's the plan because we're actually testing out new things, and a lot of times it's the stuff that we taste. Sometimes it's the stuff we taste for the first time in the show, and
Yes.
other times this is a favorite that we have that we want to present to you guys.
Yeah.
All right, and sometimes the favorites aren't in both states, and that's another game we play. We won't talk about that.
But
Anyway,
it's kind of fun. So today we figured, you know what, we're going to do it a little bit different. We try to do things differently year after year, no matter, this is our second year, our second full year, I guess. Yeah. Second and a half.
this is our third year of doing a February one.
That's what I was trying to calculate because we started in 21, 22, 23. Yes. Third one. And each one is going to be different.
This is our third Valentine's Day theme.
Right. And there's always some new information. I start fresh as though I had not gotten the information before, and I'm weird that way. I try to gather info because sometimes what I may have missed the first time around, I come across the second time around, or, it's like, oh, this is something that we forget because we don't think about. February is seen as the month of love and friendship and all the the warm and fuzzies and the rom-coms.
Well, there is another thing that February has become known for, and I'm okay with mentioning it on our show, and that is it is now there's a lot. I think this is Black History Month.
Oh, Black History Month, yes.
All right, and really it's important. All right, and it's great when we actually get to celebrate a month for something. All right. And, last year we kind of tried to stick to calendars going through and what the calendar day was. This year we're kind of playing a wing it year.
Different things come up that just grabs us and we're like, hey, we got to talk about this. Yeah. And
we did not do today's episode is about champagne or bubbles and chocolate.
Yep.
We didn't do champagne on New Year's this year because we wanted to reserve this year and do it for the first time near Halloween. Or
Yep.
Halloween.
Yep. That's
Halloween,
it.
Valentine's Day, same thing. Anyway. Yeah, it's a good thing we don't edit our episodes so that people will know that we screw up all the time.
Yep, you get what you get, y'all. This is who we are, our goofiness, our funniness, our stupidness. Mm-hmm. You're getting it right here, so we're not editing, removing all the goofball things. You don't get the what is it that they get the outtakes, separately. Yeah. You just get the outtakes.
The outtakes as part of the show. Anyway. So tonight, all right, we've got a thing on chocolate and bubbles. All right. I want to share what we're going to be drinking. And then our historian of the group will go through some notes that she has. All right. But we got to pick what we wanted tonight to drink with bubbles in mind. All right. And I'm going tonight with a favorite of mine. I swear I almost always have a bottle of this on my wine thing.
Oh, nice.
Right. Vive Clicquot. I can never say it right. Gwen says it right, and she knows how to get it for me. That's all I care. Usually I have bottles because usually I will get 3 or 4 bottles at Costco at a discount price, and I'll grab 3 or 4 of them at a time and keep them here. It is my favorite.
Smaller size? This doesn't look to be regular size. Is that like
it is not. It is a small. No, this is a smaller size because Gwen is not here this week. And once I open this,
yeah, you got to drink it.
When Gwen gets home, it will be no good.
Yeah. it'll be flat and it'll be no fun. And it's like,
So now we keep stoppers, all right, and we have the push down stoppers as well as I brought this in for a bottle of wine. We have these stoppers as well
yes,
that we can pull the air out. Try to keep these fresh, but generally a champagne or a bubbly, all right, or what's the American term for champagne? Sparkling wine, all right, yeah. It generally it fizzes out. So, but this is what I got, and this is my champagne for the night. And why don't we tell them what you got?
So I was like, what am I going to present? Am I going to go with Willamette Valley Vineyards, or am I going to go with something like La Marca or something like Chateau Ste. Michelle that's in Washington State? So I was debating. Well, on Saturday, I did my first 5K Run for Beer event with Oregon Brewers running series. So I have the whole year where there's 20 some odd races, 5Ks throughout the year. And I usually do 15 or so. I think I signed up for like 17 this year. So there's certain ones that it's a couple of them a month, and so it's a 5K. It's not that big a deal. The cool thing is that it's one of the first ones is Portland Cider Company that's been around for some time now. And they're a staple here in Oregon, and everybody loves their cider. They have really good cider. They have a variety of ciders, and they're always coming up with new things. And so this year, it was my first race, and I had Maverick, and Maverick was just like ready to go. So he was like sleigh dogging me through, and I was like, and he knows how to get around people, so he's like maneuvering around. I'm, excuse me, coming through. Sorry, I'm apologizing. But the boy's really good at making sure that he doesn't run into anybody. If he starts to go right on somebody that they move, he like backs up a little and goes around them. So came in first female. So that was kind of fun, to have. Last year I came in twice first female. This year, this is the first race, and I came in first female. So now I have to do it a couple more times, So I got a 6-pack of the cider that I wanted, which I still haven't tried. There's a dry that they have, and then, or an almost dry, or it's mostly dry. This other one had a little bit more alcohol content. I haven't tried it yet. It's really good. But one of the other things that they said, hey, this is something new, I ended up with their Portland Cider True Brut. It's exceptionally dry and delightfully fizzy Northwest cider. So this particular one, when they made it, they put it in champagne. They used champagne yeast to make it. And so that's why it's True Brut. And I said, oh, well, it's got fizz, it's got bubbles, it's kind of sort of, there's champagnes in there. So I'm going to do this. And I thought this would be kind of fun to try something different. And normally, even though it's extra dry, I always expect a certain level of sweetness, especially because this was made with various apples. And so, because there's still apples in there, we're not going to, get rid of the apples. So this one has Gala, Honeycrisp, Granny, and Golden Delicious. So there are a few different apples. They suggest pairing it with like fried chicken, oyster steak, black pepper, truffles. And so, and there's zero residual sugar, which I really like. And there's some fruit notes and full bodied. I have not tasted it, so this is going to be the first time. Now, normally, because this is a dry one, there's no sugar. I prefer a dry. I prefer a Brut, which is a dry, not that sweetness. If you are having dark chocolate, you normally do not want to have it with a Brut because the Brut doesn't have that much sugar, and then the dark chocolate is also not very sweet, and so they don't always pair together. So even though, so you need something sweeter. So normally you would want to go with the sweeter, maybe an Asti or something else that has a richer grapes in there. If you are going to do like a white chocolate, which I do have white chocolate here, then you want to do like a rosé. A rosé goes very well with that. And then a dry would go well with the milk chocolate because it's a little bit sweeter. A Brut does go well, though, with chocolate-covered strawberries. It goes very well with that, or at least it's supposed to. Yep, which you have. And I have a variety of different chocolates. Most of them are in the darker chocolate. And it's just because these were gifts. So like all the chocolates that I have were gifts from different people, which was kind of fun because I have 5 different countries that I have chocolates from. So some of which, like this one from Germany, I have not opened it yet. This was Sean's parents' friends that live in Germany. They were visiting, and so they gave me this. We had an exchange student from Switzerland, so I've eaten most of them. I had like 5 of them. I'm down to my last one, which is my mini chocolate. Then of course I have Ghirardelli and Dove, because this one I did buy, and because it's got the nuts, the almonds in there, and it's intense, and some sea salt, and then Dove. So you got California, and you got either Chicago or Pennsylvania that Dove is made. And then the last one is when you all met Murray, little guy. He's just a bundle of joy, just happy boy. So this particular brand is from Argentina. So Amber, also the owner of Black Bear Diner, she brought me this back to thank me for taking care of her boy. So that's where all of these little guys, this one, and I'm down to like my last 4, because I've been eating them consistently because they're super yummy. So I have 5 different countries represented in the form of chocolate. And then of course, quasi chocolate that it's being represented by the crepe. It's filled with banana and then covered in chocolate. So I tried to do something different than the last time I did chocolate something food. So that's what I have today.
Okay. And I picked up where you had chocolate last week. And what did I bring?
Donuts.
Little chocolate donuts. A ding dong.
Oh yes.
No, yeah.
Ding dongs are.
Yeah,
you gotta ding dongs.
Of course, I always have a bag of the Lindors in there. So I have Lindor dark, extra dark.
Oh, and milk
and white.
Oh, nice. You got the variety pack. Yeah. Very nice. I will have to tell you a story of the ding dong, because is the ding dong the one that's covered in that little foil?
Actually, this one was not. It was in a plastic container.
Okay. Well, one of my friends from junior high.
There's cream in the middle. Let me find out.
I hope so. Oh, yum, num, num. Num, num. So she used to think that her dad used to wrap each individual ding dong for her lunch. She didn't realize that it came already wrapped in the box that dad would get for her. So that was the cutest thing. So
I also have, Super Bowl. We had all kinds of food here we didn't use.
Nice.
I've got a Kroger charcuterie board.
Nice. What else did you make for Super Bowl?
Gwen made a chili, a really good chili. Actually, there's some chocolate in our chili this time. And after she made the first batch or made the first bit of it, I tasted it, and I'm like, it felt like it was missing something. So I throw a couple things in a thing to taste it and add to see what it'll do, which tells me the flavors it needs. And the weirdest thing I threw together was, well, let me just throw some sriracha sauce in it and see.
Okay.
Well, that told me, because sriracha is got like a vinegary to it, so it really offsets the chili. But the sweet from the sriracha was the one thing we had to find, and I just added more tomato paste and some chili powder. Actually, I used not chili powder, but cayenne powder.
Okay.
And it put the sweet and on the hot to make it just right. We did that, and then we had we have this thing that we like to do. They're called Reuben quesadillas.
Okay.
It's like a Reuben sandwich put together in a quesadilla.
Oh, okay.
And we've done that. We've done that before. We found it in one of Gwen's books many years ago, and it's been a favorite that her and I do. And now we have a nice cast iron pan to fry them in, so it's either even better. And then she cooked up, and it's still some out there for this week for us to have, is a short rib. She did this whole short rib recipe that we did, beef short rib. So
very nice.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting, and look at this beautiful color. And truly, I mean, in this case, because it was cider, I didn't worry about my champagne flute, the last one that I broke. So I'm just using the little mini. But partially you want to use a flute because even if you go to the dollar store, which is no longer a dollar store, it's more expensive, but it looks beautiful. It helps the bubbles just come through, very elegant, and it just keeps it a little bit longer. So that's why you want to use a flute. So I use this one that's, has that look to it. And so look at those
Yeah,
bubbles.
so we have this. I have these little flutes that are my
Yes.
favorite. Just
I
saying.
have-
We've had tons of these around the house. I'm not a fan of this.
yeah, I prefer the other ones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like this.
yes, those are fun.
In this flute. So
that's the one that I had, and of course it got broken somehow. I don't remember why, but yeah. But yeah, it was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Look at that beauty.
Look at the bubbles, baby.
Look at those beautiful bubbles. So this is going to be the first time before I try it with any food. I'm going to have it by itself. Oh, that's very nice. I like
love the feel of the first taste of a champagne. And how it just it feels like it's a foam expanding in your mouth going.
Yes, I was about to say it had that little foaminess and it just has this delicious flavor. Portland cider, you done good. You done good. This was really nice. And I love that I got to look at the thing. It says there's 0 sugar in this, which is most of the time you're getting sugar with a lot of different alcohols. So to get little to no sugar, and this one, it says expect more from your cider. So they are Portland based. This is a 6.9% alcohol by volume. And it is gluten free. And they're made with Northwest apples. So all the apples, they always keep it local. So whether it be Oregon or Washington, that's what they're going to be using. But they have a great location. They're kind of in an industrial area, but they're close enough to the main road where you can get to them. And they have a great space outside. They actually now have a back space that we got to use this year where it's a little bit colder in the morning. I mean, like 40 degrees. So having that space and being able to have the dogs to come into that space without intruding on the main restaurant, because that's the problem is you take your pooch and you can't bring them inside and then you have to leave them outside and nobody's looking after them. So it's a whole process. So having that where they've accommodated, absolutely love it. So some of the things that I did look up was because this is supposed to be the month of love, is that some people love it, some people hate it. But there is a lot of history and some of it is not as romantic, so Valentine's Day can be all the gifts and the hard to get dinner reservations and the kissing and the love and the hugs and the chocolate and the flowers and all the things. But it started a long, long time ago back in oh my goodness, I forgot what century it was. However, it was during the time where the Romans, so back in Roman times, they called what they were celebrating Lupercalia. I think that's the pronunciation, which led later on to what is Valentine's Day. So it was the celebration of fertility. And there was a lot of different rituals where they were pairing people off. There was, they were sacrificing goats and dogs and the things.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't say it was like an orgy or something like that, or swingers party.
I think those were the Greeks. So there was 2 different Saint Valentines that they talked about. One of them was that they refused to convert to paganism and he was executed. The other one is another he was a bishop. And so he was also executed. And so it's like this whole thing of like, oh my goodness, they're executing all the St. Valentines. The other one was
leave it to the Catholics to execute people.
The other one says, oh, no, that's not the story. The story is St. Valentine was a Roman priest who was marrying soldiers that the emperors, that particular Roman emperor said no soldiers are to get married because they would make lesser of a good soldier if they were married. So he wore a ring that had Cupid on it, which was the symbol of love. And so they could find him. And so then they would go up to him and say, hey, I want to get married. So, but in all the things that were happening, it was supposed to be February 15th, but then it ended up getting moved to February 14th. So, but there is a particular poet that back in 1375 wrote the Parliament of Fowls, and it is very much the way that it was written. It's very proper and very Renaissance, if you will, very Shakespearean. And so, if you forgot your AP English, what it boils down to is how birds come to choose their mates. So that was the with all the fancy fluff that you really have to think through, that's what it boiled down to. So that's what really made it a little bit more mainstream when he did that. But there's a lot of different ways that it has been celebrated, and it's changed over the years. But chocolate and bubbles has been one of those quintessential things that you always know about. And the other thing is that whether you celebrate or not, whenever you're having a sparkling, a champagne, and chocolate, I mean, both are very indulgent. So you're supposed to be taking a bite and really letting it melt in your mouth and truly enjoy your chocolate. And you do that with your champagne and really let it just bubble in your mouth and really enjoy it. So it is one of those things that you take a bite and you enjoy, just like a relationship. You're supposed to hang out with that person and truly enjoy the time that you spend with them. So,
Sean's saying tonight that his name is Bubbles. I was going to go, Sean, with, do you remember the movie, all right, Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield? Where he had the jacuzzi put in his college dorm room, and he said, "Hey, what's a bath without bubbles? Bubbles, come on over here."
There's a whole inside joke with Bubbles. We will tell it off the air.
Sean, I'm gonna make Sean come on and tell it.
Actually, it's my joke. But he probably would do a really good job of telling that joke, though. I can't believe he still remembers that. Yeah. So his name is Bubble. But there's some good news. Oh.
So you had one of the things on your notes I'm going to go back to. Can I?
Oh, absolutely.
Because there's a modern fun take on Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah. Valentine's Day.
Because it was mentioned on the show Parks and Recreation, which is another... Just saying, a favorite. By the way, did you catch the commercial from the two people from Parks and Recreations yesterday on the Super Bowl?
I probably did, but I didn't really watch that show all that often.
It was the Mountain Dew commercial with the girl who prayed April, and Ron Swanson shows up at the end. And she goes, well, I like to have it with whenever I want. And he comes up and goes, with whoever you want. And they're both using their old Parks and Rec laugh. But Valentine's Day was something that Leslie Knope created on the Parks and Recreation show as a girls get together before Valentine's Day. And she did that because in the very beginning of the show, she was single and she was trying to get all the single girls together. At the end, the last year that they did Valentine's Day, it was not done on Valentine's Day, which is technically
the 13th.
The 13th of February. It was done in an off thing, and that was because her best friend, Anne, had moved away, and she did a Galentine's Day to find a new best friend.
Oh.
So, to me, it is a fun celebration. It is a great thing. All right. I always love it. As you could tell from last week's episode, I always love something when a show, and I can get to relate it on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I've enjoyed a strawberry with mine, which I got to say is the best combination, right? Chocolate covered strawberries, but I got some of these other chocolates, the Ding Dong and the champagne, not really a good combination.
Yeah, because of it was more cakey and the white chocolate.
The donut is going to have the same thing, so let me get the bad tastes out
of your mouth. Yeah. Well, while you do that, I will say that there is some great news that was done in London, where they found out that chocolates and champagne can actually be good for your heart. They came up that in moderation. So it goes back to at the end, it's like, it's moderation. Anything that you're having too many sweets, too many things, of course, it's going to lead to all sorts of issues, including heart disease and fatty liver and all these other things. But, and with, when it comes to alcohol also, and we've talked about that moderation, just drinking to enjoy, not to, pass out. But the cocoa from the chocolate, because of its components and the polyphenols, they have antioxidants, and those are supposed to be anti-inflammatory. So they're supposed to be good for you. They're supposed to help with relax the blood vessels and reduce blood pressure. So for those of you that have blood pressure and you can have this stuff, have some dark chocolate, not just chocolate, but dark chocolate with at least, I think it was like 70%.
70% or higher. And I
Yep.
will tell you this, that in the early 2000s, 2004, a friend of mine actually started a thing with real dark chocolate, no sugar, no additives, just real raw dark chocolate and a powder to put in a capsule.
Oh.
And it was a very interesting health thing that we did for a while, and I can't find it anymore, but that was actually known for taking that. All right. It was, that was curing all kinds of things because it was a natural supplement. All right. Just like you said, with the heart and everything like that.
Very nice. Well, there was some 114,000 participants, that those that had higher levels of chocolate were 30 some odd percent less likely to have coronary heart disease. And there was a reduction in diabetes and in strokes. So that was quite interesting. So it could be good for us. So not only is it romantic and just lovely, but it is good for us. And there's other, it, with all the things, it goes back to just be moderate in your consumption, because anything that's not in moderation is not a good thing. And the other thing is, when you are pairing, it's all about the sweetness or lack thereof sweetness. So whenever anything is being paired, that's why it was, if you're having a dark chocolate, you want to make sure you have a sweeter champagne, or rosé with white, and then the Brut might go well with the milk chocolate. But my white chocolate did go well with it. My banana with chocolate, it did not go well with my champagne, because the banana was too sweet, and pairing it was like, no. So I did not like. This is the dark chocolate from Switzerland.
Yeah.
I think that dark chocolate from Switzerland went better than my dark chocolate from Germany. So this is the one from Germany. My Switzerland, I think this dark chocolate has a slight sweeter than this one. And I think that's why it probably tasted a little bit better with my cider Brut. So that's if you're looking and you're going to deep dive into your champagne, because you got to like it, so you taste it. But if you're looking for Pinot Noir grapes in a higher percentage in your champagne, that's going to be a little bit sweeter. And then, man, I'm really enjoying that.
I'm enjoying, because I'm eating more strawberries.
Yeah. And the other thing is, you want to make sure that your champagne is chilled at least a couple of hours before you serve it. Keep it in a bucket or something that will keep it cold. That helps with the bubbles, and it helps with the way it tastes, and so that it doesn't flatten out on you. Because if it warms up, it's going to flatten out a lot quicker. So those are some of the tips, y'all. Hopefully that's going to be helpful as you're looking for what you're going to be drinking or eating. If you are going to do dark chocolate, having like a Merlot, if you're not going to do the bubbles, then that's okay. You can go with a cab Merlot, something that richer flavor of wines with the rich dark chocolate. It will just bring out the good flavors in there.
Has champagne, did you find anything in your notes today? Because I didn't read it in your notes of champagne just being the celebratory wine.
You see it in a lot of movies. There's when they christen a boat, bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
When you're celebrating a new home, a new job, champagne.
When I die, ladies and gentlemen, you all better pop open a bottle of champagne and celebrate my life.
Cheers. Here.
Yeah. All right. When the night my father-in-law passed, we didn't have any champagne in the house. To me, I have a rule now. I always keep a bottle of some sort of champagne in the house to celebrate. You should always have a bottle of the crap open to celebrate.
Even if it's a split or a little guy. A little guy is going to cost about $8, and it's going to last in your fridge a long time.
I don't know about you, but I don't get those $8 ones. Mine's are $14.
La Marca is about
you. I am going to regret that, right, Sean?
La Marca is about $8. And then if you get some other ones, in the 14. It just depends. But, if you get something around those lines, you can keep it somewhat, not too expensive, because some folks are going, what if I don't like it? You know what? If you can try it at a bar, then you'll know, hey, do I like this one? Do I like that one? Before they put it into a mimosa, ask to taste the sparkling by itself and which one are they using.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing wrong with asking.
No, I used to always have champagne with your orange juice, pineapple juice. I'm trying to think of other juices I've had it with, but I found sometimes now I would rather have it just by itself.
Mm-hmm.
If
you have a good one,
yeah,
absolutely. And if I do have it as a mimosa, 3/4, 1/4.
Yeah. On my 50th birthday, Gwen organized in Napa for us to go through a couple wineries, and Mom was one of the ones that Gwen and I visited. I think we visited it before then. It might have been after my birthday, but I think we visited it the first time before, and I prefer Mom. All right, your American one. Mom to me is the best.
Okay.
Now I've had some of the Schramsberg, which is another great one. Gwen loves it because it's close to her maiden name. But we went on the day of my birthday to Shandong.
Okay.
Which Shandong to me is all about. It's a great presentation.
I do I think I brought that on one of the podcasts.
We've had Shandong on one of our podcasts, but I think that same podcast I brought Mom, and I'm just saying, Shandong's a good American champagne. I like Mom better.
Okay. I haven't Mom in so long that I don't even know what it tastes like. So I might have to.
You can get Mom. We get Mom. Well, I should say we get Mom in Texas. We'll get it at Kroger. It's about $14 to $17 a bottle.
Okay, that's not bad.
And they have the rosé, the Brut, and I forget what the third one is. And all three of them are great. I love their rosé, bubbly, and you take the rosé. It goes with certain things. Brut goes with certain things. All right, and I forget what the third one is. So,
Dusty, it's that sweeter one. Yeah, it's either D''ASTI or just ASTI. Depends on who the manufacturer is. But it's that sweeter one that I don't care for. Now that I'm like, well, maybe if I'm having it by itself with dark chocolate, maybe, or if I'm having it on a mimosa, possibly. But it is just too sweet, and that sweetness, I'm like, I don't like it.
They have They have a rosé, a Brut rosé. I'm actually checking out their
website.
This might answer your question. Let's See was a Canadian television series broadcast on CBC television between
Alexa,
September
stop. They have a Brut Prestige.
Okay.
All right. A Brut Rosé and a Cuvée. Cuveem.
Yeah.
Cuvée M. And the Cuvée M is the one I don't get as much. It's usually the rosé or the sparkling the Brut Reserve, and the Cuvée is usually in a blue bottle. The rosé, it's a pink label, and the Brut Reserve is a black label.
Oh, black. Okay.
Yeah.
There is one that was an almond sparkling wine that you can get at Wilson in Temecula. That one is, I was like, wow, it's like almond sparkling wine. That one was pretty good. I haven't tried it in a long time, so I don't remember. I remembered it being delicious, but I don't, that was 20.
Yeah, we have two, there's two Texas-based ones that we get it from here. One of them is we're VIPs at it here in Texas called and we're going there this Saturday. Oh God, and I forget the friggin' name. Why, Tim? Why are you forgetting the name? Oh.
Because it's right there, and that's why.
If I didn't have to say it on the show right now, I would know. That's
right.
Why. If I didn't have to say it on the show right now, it would be at the tip of my tongue.
And so for some of you, you might say, you know what? I don't like sparkling. Well, you got Martinelli's, which is that sparkling cider, the apple cider, which has no alcohol. And they have so many different flavors now. There's like 5 or 6 different flavors, and they're absolutely delicious. I've tried a few, and I really like them. You can go just sparkling white water, like San Pellegrino's. There you go. That. Put it in a pretty glass. I've done that before where I have this gorgeous goblet and then the sparkling goes in there and it just tastes that much better. And then there's something new. It's a boozy without booze mix aloe she, 50 calories, and there's no booze in it. So it is supposed to drink like a boozy. It's 1%, less than 1% juice, but you can put this in a pretty glass. And
can you add an alcohol to it?
Possibly.
Okay.
I can always experiment. But it's 50 calories. There is 9 grams of sugar. And 50
I don't count those. Do you count those things? I don't.
There depends on what it is. For the most part, no, but there's certain things that in drinks or certain foods that I'm like, I don't need that much sugar. If I'm adding the sugar, that's me adding the sugar, but I don't want to see 60 some odd grams of sugar because I know that's just going to get me jittery. But this is carbonated water, cane sugar, and then of course natural flavors and blah blah blah. But this is made here in the U.S., so check it out, Mixalo She, and see what you like. I haven't tried it yet. This is one that I will be drinking sometime soon. I'm going to keep it here at the office to have for lunch one of these days.
Messina Hoff is the Texas winery that we get our almond champagne from. Messina Hoff.
Okay. Try new things. Check it out. See if they have the splits. Some places will not do splits. They will not do the smaller bottles because it's not cost effective. Willamette Valley Vineyards is one that they will not do small because they said it's more expensive to bottle something small than it is to bottle the larger one. So they won't do the splits.
Well, no, I will tell you there's a lot of American wineries that it is not cost effective to do it. You'll find a lot more of the French wineries willing to do it. All right. Why? They just are all right because number one, it can't be called champagne if it's not from Champagne, France.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why they're doing it. All right, because they can actually label their stuff and you can get champagne out there. Yeah. And they're usually almost always done through there's a major distributor involved.
Of course, there always is. Always.
So take the major distributor out of it, you're not going to get as much. Anyway.
Right. But hopefully y'all can find something fun to do. And if you couldn't get that reservation, you know what? Get some candles, turn down the lights, get a bottle of sparkling, whether it be alcoholic, non-alcoholic, get some chocolate covered strawberries. Make sure you pick them up early because they will be gone by 5 o'clock. So get them first thing in the morning or get them on the 13th.
Yeah.
Some strawberries, some whipped cream, sparkling, keep it simple, maybe a little charcuterie board that you just rip the thing off. Maybe you put it on a pretty platter, or maybe you don't, doesn't matter, but doing something, fun and romantic, and you cuddle up, and yeah, boys, maybe you want to watch a rom-com. Who knows? I think that the most watched rom-com has been, I think, Love Actually. I think I heard that this morning. So I was thinking it would have been like Sleepless in Seattle or something like that, or You've Got Mail, because it's been around for so long, but apparently not.
And there hasn't been drinks mentioned in those. That's why we don't talk about them that much.
There you go. There you have it, boys and girls. Why?
Which I guarantee you, we will find more movies, drinks that have this year. I'm guaranteeing we're going to find them.
Did you not see the link that I sent you that had all the movies with drinks? And I was going, oh, really? Oh, really? I was like, oh, I did not know this. So now I have movies I want to watch just to see how they positioned it. Now, mind you, I have one of my friends, one of her best friends from college, her job, mind you, this was some years ago. I don't know if she's still doing that, but her job at the time, the one that paid the bills and paid for her insurance, her job was to watch movies and count how many times cigarettes came up. And if they lit them, if they were not lit, how many puffs they did. That was her job. Everything surrounding cigarettes. So for me, it's like everything surrounding, like, what are they drinking? And I do that all the time. It's like, that bottle looks familiar, or, ooh, they're drinking such and such on that show, whether it be alcoholic or, your Starry, Pepsi, Coke, whatever it is. It's like trying to figure out, what are they drinking? That for me is kind of fun. So I think what she got paid for, I'm doing just because it's interesting, but I do it with food and drink, not with cigarettes. So there's a job for everybody that does certain things that you're like, you got paid for that? It's like, yep, she did.
Mm-hmm.
This was nothing. I'm like content right now. The chocolate and Portland cider, True Brut. I can't be mad at that. This is pretty yummy. I'm glad I have two of these because I might actually have one to share.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because this one's going to be drank today.
Oh, no, this will be gone. All right, because Gwen's not in town, so that's what's left in it. We can see the line.
Yeah.
I love these dark bottles because you can't see the line.
Oh, I could see it because there was enough light going through it. It was right where the label was, right about there.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? It's the fact that Tim has very, very bright lights in his studio.
Yep.
Oh, I can't. There we go. Because I've already finished 2 glasses of it.
Mine is down to about here. So it's really, I've drank maybe half of it because there's still this much here, and the line is right about, I can feel the cold right about there. So it's 19, this is interesting, 19.2 fluid ounces. 19.2.
I'm trying to find. Hold on. I'm trying to find. I got to read fine print. It's like me reading.
Is it 375 milliliters?
It's here. I just can't find it.
Of course. It should be in the front on the bottom right.
Just says 12% alcohol by volume.
Oh.
But where's the size? 375 milliliters.
Ta-da!
Anyway.
What I did is that I took 750 divided by 2. And I actually did that math in my head, which is unusual because I stopped doing
Smart
that
Alec.
a long time ago because I'm like, too much information.
That's a woman who can calculate her alcohol.
You're so bad. But this has been fun, trying something different because this is, I was like just kind of excited that I'm like, oh my goodness, I have chocolate from 5 different countries. I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, it made for an interesting podcast because of the fact that we did exactly that. The only definition and some of the cool things we're going to do this year is we lightly define the show. And there's a lot of gray area that each one of us can go into on our angle of the show. That's what we decided to try this year. And a couple different times we will do it. And there'll be times that we both have the same alcohol to talk about it. But we wanted to do that in a way to sometimes push each other's limits. So
come up with things that it's like, oh, that sounds like fun. I have that. There's been times that we have done that one has something that the other says, I got that. Give me a moment. Let me go grab it. And then, we'll grab it because it was just kind of one of those, I had thought about that. And other times it's like, oh, I don't have that. I want that, and so then we're going to try new things, separately because we came up with the whatever that thing was, whether it be the food or the drink. A lot of times it's the food, because for the drink, we know what we're going to do on the drink. It's the food that we're like, yeah, that sounds.
Well, this week we got all we said was bubbles. We said champagne. We did not define what kind you're going to get.
Yep, it was bubbles. It was bubbles and chocolate and bubbles, something chocolate and bubbles. And this time I did go mainly chocolate. Last time when we said chocolate, I actually made mole because it had chocolate in it.
It had chocolate in it. That's where I wanted to try the other things. The chocolate ding dong stuff does not go with this. Probably would go all right with the regular wine,
right?
But not this. So anyway, I made a unique episode. So, bottom line with this episode was I'm going to recommend is, always have a bottle of champagne in your refrigerator. Always have one chilled, ladies and gentlemen. And if your favorite is, something that may not be Gladys and I's favorite, I say keep it. Always keep it in your refrigerator. I said, honey, I don't know how to pronounce this. My wife has to tell me how to pronounce it. And she's not home right now.
And that's okay. I ended up with some splits somehow. I don't know if it was a gift basket or what it was, but I had like 4 different splits. Mm-hmm. And by themselves, I did not care for them. I was like going, ooh, I don't like this. But I added some orange juice and I'm like, I can drink it. Yeah. The orange juice masks the taste of it. But I know what I like that I can drink on its own.
That's exactly what we would do with a bad vodka. We'd make Bloody Marys out of it.
There you go.
Just saying.
Yeah. I don't care what they say. The vodka doesn't have a taste. Yes, it does. Just like water. There is a taste. There is a taste, y'all. So.
And there's bad vodka. All right. And
then the HR, what is it? HRD. That's somebody told me like there's the alcohol that's the low end, that's from your knees down, and then you have the mid grade that's from your like chest to your knees, and then the high end, which is from your chest up. So but I'm like going, well, I'm kind of short. So
is this my chest or your chest? Let's get this straight now.
That's where I was getting at. That means that I'm like my high end starts at a lower level than you would because you're taller.
So no, but like our bourbon aisle, I can see over it in our Little Elm Liquor, which is
I go like this.
Store. But their vodka is on the wall and it goes up. So
fun stuff.
Anyway, good stuff. Anyway. Did you complete everything did you taste everything with yours or no? What didn't you taste?
No, I tasted everything. I mean, there's a few pieces of chocolate that I have left, but I'm afraid to break into them because what if I don't like it? Although this one's been eyeing me, so.
I even had pieces of my charcuterie, but.
Oh, there's raspberry in this.
Okay, fruits, chocolate, and champagne is always another good combination.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm not mad at that. So you have that different type of chocolate. Then there's not quite a caramel, but it's almost like a caramel. And then there's a raspberry in there.
I don't know if I'd want a caramel chocolate with champagne.
It's a honey. There it is.
Mhm.
It's a honey.
Okay.
So the sweeter chocolate, that honey in there with the raspberry went very well.
Okay.
Let me see if it has
All kinds of combinations we come up with this week. But
yeah.
one of the things we can tell you, though, all right, to help us find out combinations is one of the coolest things you can do is go to join our Insiders Club. Like the way you drink.com. You must be 21 to join. There is a thing that says join the Insiders Club here. Click that button. Yes, you must fill out the form. Yes, you must tell us how old you are. All right. We're not going to check your ID, but you must be 21 to join. All right. We have to ask you that in order to do the Insiders Club. It's a great way for us to actually sample and taste things just like this with you in a special tasting. Now, one of the things that are, because we're always connecting with new people out there in the field that we're going to offer to our insiders first, is people who do whiskey tastings or do wine tastings to where we can do it virtually. We'll all be on a Zoom together, things like that, but it is only available to the Insiders Club. Anyway, join the Insiders Club. Okay, go likethewayyoudrink.com. Must be 21 to join. Go check that out. And you were saying? Now that my commercial's done.
No, it's always it's perfectly fine. You know, that's something that we always have to bring up. So join, that's kind of important. But then Tim and I, we are your sponsors. We are your co-host for this podcast. Hopefully we have made you laugh. Hopefully you've learned something. If we've brought you value, make sure that you subscribe to our channels. I think we're still trying to, YouTube is one that we're trying to grow. I think we have more followers on Spotify than we have on YouTube. And part of the fun of YouTube and Facebook, I'm always sending people to YouTube and Facebook. I'm like, you can find us on all the channels. But the fun part about YouTube and Facebook is that we're like, so look at the color of this and look at this on that. You can see it. You can't hear color.
On Facebook and YouTube, we bring up your comments like Sean's here.
Yes.
We can't do that on Spotify.
Right. So if you are on the show, if you comment, guess what? Your comment's probably going to be shown.
If it's a bad comment, I might not.
Yeah, I
hide a lot of Sean's comments. His aren't important.
We vetted him. But
anyway.
Thank you all for being here. Keep listening, share. I was, where the heck was I? That I was like, oh yeah, it's going to go on the podcast. What's your podcast? So it's like, oh, I got to look it up. That's the way we share. Just share it saying, hey, oh, you like food, you like drink. Hey, there's this podcast you should listen to. It's, we want to grow our audience and grow it with you, those that enjoy food and drinks.
Exactly. So, but it is the two of us that sponsor it. So we're going to tell you a little bit about our businesses before we go. Let's start off with ladies first, of course.
Thank you, Tim. Gladys Boutwell, Insurance by Design. I am helping employers become employers of choice in their own industry. How do they do that? They give their employees the things that they want and need. My book is coming out. It's kind of 101 Creative Ways to Attract and Retain Quality Staff. There's 101 different ways that an employer can attract and retain quality staff through employee benefits. If you want to have that conversation and say, hey, can I afford it? Guess what? Go to enrollnoworegon.com. That's my schedule. Get on my calendar. We'll have a conversation. If you are in a different state, it does not matter. I'm either contracted in that state or I know somebody who is that will take great care of you. So that's enrollnoworegon.com for my schedule, or insurancedesignpros.com so you can check out all the services that I provide in Oregon, Washington, and California. Gladys Boutwell here to serve you, and this is my co-host, Tim.
Hey guys, my name's Tim Gillette, and other half of this show, and my business sponsors too. I'm a website designer, simpleeasywebsites.com. I just firmly believed in the last few years that people need to have a website up there. You don't need to be just on social media. You don't need to be just on a YouTube channel or just on whatever platform it is. You need to be able to use a website, use an email list, and actually find a direct way to connect with your audience, and that is your own real estate on the web. If you want to find out more about how we can help you, all right, get our free website planner, simpleeasywebsites.com. Love to talk with you. Do a review of your website and see if you can do it. Our motto is, if your website's not making money, it's time to fix it.
Ah.
And lastly, shout out. Anybody you want to shout out to this week?
Nate and Drew. Oh my goodness. Sorry, Drew. Nate and Drew from Run for Beer, Oregon Brew Runner Series for taking us to Portland Cider, and Portland Cider for always being a supporter. They've been supporting our runs for almost 8 years. They are absolutely amazing. Thank you. These they gave to us. This was an additional to our cider that we have after our 5K. So thank you so much. So that's my my shout out for today. And then there was a vineyard that has the best Oregon sparkling, or yeah, we got to check spelling there. It's Andersheim Vineyard. So we'll have to try that. I will let you know how good that is. So those are my shout outs for this week. Who do you have?
My brother actually got me this from a place where he got one of the places he applied to get an apartment. They give these. This is from the mansions at, let's see if I get it closer. The mansions at Oak Point.
Nice.
It's a wonderful 2019 cab. All right. I'm sure now that I'm shouting them out on the show that they realize I live in Oak Point. They are in Oak Point. Maybe they'll reach out. Maybe we can get them on the show with some tasting of some great wine from rural Texas area. So the shout out I got for the week. Other than that, thanks to my wife for getting me my champagne, giving me the hookup with some good food this week. And thank you to you for being my partner for 2.5 years.
I know we got to celebrate our Valentine's Day celebration of our friends that that we appreciate. So appreciate you.
Yep.
And for those out there, even my friends that I've known for a long time that I don't get to chat with every day for one reason or another, but I know that you are there for me. So I appreciate you all. You know me. We stay in contact, and it's like, there we don't skip a beat. So those are always the good friends that we keep in mind at all times.
Good things. Good things. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's another wrap for another week. We will see you guys back here next week with another great show. All right. In the meantime, cheers.
Cheers, y'all.